the first thing you need to do is you need to go to aplusstudents.com to the website. Once you're on the website, you select math as your subject. This is a grade 6 maths lesson. The name of the topic is Symmetry and Transformations. The chapter number, I'll give you the chapter number and the lesson number. The chapter number is 31 and the lesson number is 2. Chapter number 31, lesson number 2, and today we will be looking at transformation, that is transformations, that is reflection, what is rotation, and what is translation. So before we begin the topic, let's go to the chapter, grade 6, chapter number 31. Okay, just a moment please. Grade 6, chapter number 31, Symmetry and Transformation, and lesson number 2. Differentiate between reflection, rotation, and translation first. If we have a reflection, the basic example of a reflection is if you're standing in front of a mirror. Let's say this is a mirror. Okay, this vertical line is a mirror. The image that is formed on the left side, okay, the object. Let's suppose you're standing in front of a mirror 1 feet from the mirror. Then your distance, the image formed in the mirror would also have a distance of 1 feet from you, right? If you raise your right hand, then the image will raise which hand? It would raise left hand. Okay. So what we can see over here is when we are looking at reflection, the reflection has to be inverted. Okay. The reflection is always inverted image. So we can say if this was the object, then this will be the image at the same distance, and this would be the line of reflection. Agreed? They will always be at the same distance, right? The line of reflection in this case is the mirror. If we had to see rotation, if we have a triangle, that was the object. A basic example of rotation is a fan. A fan rotates. A wheel of a car rotates, right? So what happens in a rotation is, if this was the object given to us, when we make the image, what will happen? Either it can be rotated this way, okay? If this was the object given, it can be rotated this way. That means we are moving in the direction of the clock, and we know that the clock has 12, 3, 6, and 9. It was previously pointing towards 12 o'clock. Now it's pointing towards 3 o'clock. So we can say 90 degrees clockwise rotation. But if ever we move against the direction of the clock, if this was the object given to us and we would move against the direction of the clock, what will happen? The shape would move in this direction. So what we can say is, if we are moving against the direction of the clock, we say 90 degrees anti-clockwise rotation. Okay. So in rotation, the direction is changed. In reflection, we have inverted image. In rotation, we do change in direction. The image stays exactly the same, but only the direction is changed. Okay. Let's see about translation. In English, we know translation is when we translate from one language to another, right? But in maths, what happens is, if you are sitting in the front of the class, right? Hi, Prinsley. Hi, Brightly. In translation, what happens is, if let's suppose you're sitting in the front of the class, right? And you move from your place and you go at sit at any other seat in the class, right? So what happens is, you will still be you, right? You will not change. So in translation, what happens is, we do the change in position. Okay, so if the object was this triangle, which was over here, if we move this triangle from here to a new location over here, it has been moved from here to here, right? The position has been changed. That means a translation has been applied. Whenever we change a position, I'll show it to you. Quincy, don't worry. We will be looking at a lot of diagrams and I'll explain every single one of them, right? Don't worry about it. See, I'm just highlighting them, just giving you a brief review of what they are, and then I'll explain each and every one by examples, okay? So all I'm asking you is to remember, Ashik, in a reflection, the image and the object. If you're standing in front of a mirror, your size will not change, right? What you are, you should see exactly yourself. But the only difference is it's an inverted image, right? It's a flipped image. In rotation, if you're facing forward and now you turn towards the right or turn towards the left or make an about turn, your direction has been changed, right? Okay. And in translation, what happens in translation? Your change in position, like if you are sitting in the front or if you're sitting or you're standing at a position and you take few steps to any new location, right? New position, but it's still you. So the object and the image will still be the same. Okay, so let's look at some examples over here and let's see. They are asking us what combination of transformation is shown below. Okay. Let's see. For question number 1, keeping the reflection, rotation, and translation in mind, they're asking us what combination is given to us. Sorry, just a moment, please. Let me see that. Okay, this looks perfect. This is our question number 1. What is happening over here is this shape, a rectangle, shape number one looks like a rectangle which is missing a box over here, right? Agreed? Agreed? So now what we can do is, just a moment. This missing box, we can see N over here, right? So can I say that when we know that when the shape is flipped over, it is always, what happens to it? It's reflected. Can we say it is reflected? Prinsley, can we say this box is reflected? Why? Because if there were three boxes over here, it moves three boxes to this side. If there were four boxes, it had four. Then it had four, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. So can we say that from 1 to 2, from shape 1 going to shape 2, can we say this is a reflection? From shape 1 to shape 2, can we say this is a reflection? It flipped, yes? It's like when you clap, let's suppose when you're clapping, right? When you open up your palms and they're connected together, right? So what happens is your thumbs, when you're clapping, your thumbs and all fingers are connected. When you open your palm, the thumb goes on the outer side, right? That means both the palms are a reflection of each other, inverted arrays, right? Okay. From 1 to 2, it's a reflection. Now look at from 2 to 3. Yes, it turns, and whenever it turns, it changes the direction, right? Rotation means you turn. Agreed? That means 2 is turned onto 3 because empty box was here. Now the empty box comes downwards. Agreed? That means from 2 to 3 it should be. It should be a rotation. Agreed? Do we agree? Whenever it's turning, the first what we are doing is shape number 1 is reflected to shape number 2, and then shape number 2 is a rotation to shape number 3. Do we agree, Grinsley? Thank you, Brighty. That's perfect. Yes, it is turned. Can I move on to the next question? Thank you. For the next question, it says, what combination of transformation is shown below? Just a moment, let me copy. This is question number 2. And they are asking, what combination is shown below? For question number 2. This is our question number 1, right? This shape is question number 1. What we can mark is 2 boxes at the top, then 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, right? So what we can see over here is from 1 is to 2 boxes at the top, and then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, right? So there is, okay, I'll write down this. Flip, reflection, will be flipped, right? Or inverted image. Flipped or inverted. Rotation would mean it's spin or turn, right? And translation would be moved, change in position. Okay, keeping these in mind. So what is happening over here? From going from one, no, from 1 to 2, what we can see is this shape is exactly moved onto this shape, right? Exactly movement. Do we agree? Shape number 1 without any flipping. I'll just copy this. Shape number 1 without any flipping can be moved onto shape number 2, right? There is no change, no flipping. Flipping would be this, right? If this would be flipped, then shape number 2 would have been something like this, right? But shape number 2 is not like this. Shape number 2 is exactly the same. Only the change is done is from 1 to 2, we are doing translation. Agreed? Because box 1 was kept over here, and what happened was box 1 was moved over here. Agreed? Only the translation, no spinning, no nothing, only the shifting. Do we agree? 1 and 2 is translation. Agreed? Can we say from shape number 1 to shape number 2 is translation? Only the position has been changed. From shape number 2 to shape number 3, let's see. If shape number 2 was this, right? I'll just write 2 over here. If shape number 2 was this, shape number 2 when moves on to shape number 3, is it exactly the same or something is happening? What we can see over here is the markings were furthest away and 3 empty. 2 filled, 3 empty. Then we have 3 empty and 2 filled over here. So can we say this is a inverted image, flipped image, right? The shape on the left side, this shape is a flipped image of this shape. Perfect. And whenever we flip, what do we say? It is a reflection. By keeping this information in our mind, right? If we can remember this information, we can find the answers. So shape number 1 was translated to, its translation was done to shape number 2, and from shape number 2 shape number 3, reflection was done. Let's look at another example. Okay. We agreed till now, right? Okay, now what they have is a set of triangles. Something is happening to the triangles. Okay. Yes. For the next one, the next question says, if this is the information that has been given to us, this is our question number 3. I'll just copy this information so that we can reuse this. Okay. So what we can say is shape number 1. If we say this was the shape number 1 over here, can we say the shape number 1 was exactly moved to shape number 2? No change. Can we see a flip from shape number 1 to shape number 2? They are exactly the same, right? No change in direction, no change, no spinning, no flipped, right? Okay. From shape number 1, when we move to shape number 2, we say that only the position has been changed, right? Shape number 1 has been brought down to a new position, that is shape number 2. Agreed? Do we agree? So we say that in this case, we'll have only change in position, right? And what is change in position? Sorry. We know that from shape number 1, we go to shape number 2 and we do change in position. And what is change in position? Change in position was translation, because no rotation, no spinning, right? From shape number 2 to shape number 1. Okay, if this is our shape number 2, I'll just write 2 over here. If this was our shape number 2 and we need to go to shape number 3, from shape number 2, if we need to go to shape number 3, can we say it's exactly the same? See, the difference will be, just a moment. This would be, I'll show you in a moment. See, if this is our shape number 2, let me copy this. Okay, if the shape number 2 can have two options, shape number 2 can be reflected or rotated, right? When a reflection is done, what happens? I'll show you. Sorry, 180, no, and flip horizontal. See, either it could be this or it could be this. 1 minute, please. Or it could be this. Okay, I'm just drawing these two shapes to explain this. Okay, either these. So from shape number 2, when we go to shape number 3, if we are doing reflection, then this should happen. Is this happening? Is this happening, which I draw over here? If this would have happened, then the shapes were inverted, right? That would be reflection. but we can see that this point has moved far away, and this point is not below it. It has moved far away over here. So we go the other way around. If this was not 2 to 3, from shape number 2 to 3, we say if this is no translation, right? It cannot be translation. It cannot be reflection, right? Because it's not a flipped image. If we would do reflection, it would form something like this. Then this has to be a rotation, right? So 1 to 2 is translation, and from the second shape to the third shape is a rotation. Okay, so we can either we cancel out what is not possible, because from shape 2 to shape number 3, I'll do it again. I'll show you the rotation. If this was shape number 2, right? This was shape number 2 over here. I'll show you the rotation. Rotate 180, right? Agreed? If I rotate 180, the shape became like this, right? Agreed? This is 180 degrees of rotation. So we can say that shape number 1 and shape number 2 were translation, because there is no change in, there is no spin, there is no invert in translation. So shape number 1 to 2 was translation, and 2 to 3 was rotation. Agreed? Let's look at more examples. A lot more would be clear to us. Okay. What combination of transformation is shown below? Just a moment, please. Question number 4. They're saying this is the question that's given to us. This is our question number 4. And I'll just recopy the statement which we did over here. In a reflection, the image would be flipped. Rotation is spin and turn. And in translation, it's just change in position, right? So let's see. Shape number 1. The shape number 1, when we look at shape number 1, we can say the position, it's either flipping or turning, right? If shape number 1 would have stayed exactly the same, right? If this was shape 1 and it stayed like this, exactly the same, right? Then we say it was a translation. But it did not stay exactly the same. Its direction has changed, right? So 1 to 2, from shape number 1 to shape number 2, we say that translation is not possible, right? Because this is not translation. What else could it be? Is it a flipped image? A flipped image would mean if this point was here and this was here, that had a distance of 1, 2, 3, 4. Then it should have been 1, 2, 3, and 4 over here. This distance was 2 boxes over here. Then it should be here. It was 1 box. Then the reflection should have been this, right? But that is not the case. So we say reflection is also not possible, right? 1 to 2 is not a reflection because the direction has been changed. Do we agree? So we say that this is also not a reflection. So what is left? This is a rotation. I'll show you all the 3 possibilities. If this was shape number 1, I'll show you what a reflection of this shape would be, what a if this was the shape, if I want to see a reflection, see, if I would say this is translation, this is 1 onto 1a, this is translation. Agreed? Shape 1, we want to see reflection. Okay, so in case of reflection, what will happen? Sorry, do paste. Let me just find the options. Vertical. Okay, then this would be reflection. 1 to 1b, this is reflection. And if we say this shape was given to us and we want to see the rotation, so rotation would be something like this, right? So we can say 1 to 1c is a rotation. So what we can see over here, 1 to 2, what is happening? Is it a translation? No, it cannot. From 1 to 2, we can say that it is not a translation, right? Something is changing. It cannot be translation, it cannot be reflection, but it has to be a rotation, but because the direction has changed. Agreed? From, let's compare 2 and 3. Let's compare from 2 and 3. Okay. In 2 and 3, what happened was, if this is our shape number 2, right? Okay. The best way to consider this example is we take a box. If the grid is given, we take a box. Okay. For shape number 3 also, we make a box. This would make our life easier. Okay. What we can see is this one box was empty, one box is empty. Half box, quarter. Over here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, right? So what we can say is, if we take this shape, I'm just making a copy of it. If I rotate right 90. Oh, why did it not copy this? Just a moment, please. Just a moment. Just a moment. Let me rotate this. Rotate right 90. Okay. If I have this shape, what can I say is happening over here? I took the same shapes, only inverted them. So can I say that we can see a reflection is happening over here? Can we say a reflection is happening over here because the images are inverted? Because this was at a distance of one box. This is at a distance of one box from here. This was at a distance of two boxes. This is at a distance of two boxes, right? So what we can say is this shape is a reflection of this shape, right? So from 2 to 3, we can say it is a reflection because the images are inverted to each other. Do we agree? It cannot be translation because in a reflection, the image is flipped. Like a palm. They both are flipped. Do we agree? Okay, thank you. For the next question, it says, what combination of transformations are shown below? Question number 5. Let me just copy this. Okay. We know that from shape number 1, when we move to shape number 2, let me separately copy them. Shape number 1 is moved to shape number 2. Okay. Can we say they both are mirror images of each other? Can we say they both are reflection? If this would have been reflection, then this should have been something like this. Just a moment. Sorry. Then it should have been something flip horizontal. Something like this, right? But this is not the answer that we are getting, right? So we can say that this was reflection, and in this case reflection is not happening, right? So if we take the shape again, let's rotate this time, and if we rotate it, let's suppose right towards 90, this shape becomes something like this. Sorry, 1 minute please. This shape would become something like this. Okay, so we can still say that this is not, this is rotation, right? Can we see the same shape over here, or can we see a translation? If this was the shape given over here and this is the translation, this was translation. So between 1 and 3, sorry, why am I even looking at 1 and 3? Between 1 and 2, what is happening? Is it translation, reflection, or rotation? If I simply flip their positions and if I make them like this, so can we say this was, if this was 1, can we say this was 2? And we know that this has been rotated, because this cannot be a reflection. 1 to 2 cannot be a reflection, right? Cannot be a translation. Then it has to be a rotation. Agreed? So we cancel out what is not possible. Okay? What about 1 and 3? Or let's suppose 2 and 3. Let's look at 2 and 3. What is happening in 2 and 3? The shape 2 has moved from its position and gone and replaced shape 3. Exactly, right? What happens is 2 is not changing, and it's not spinning, it's not flipping, it's only overlapping. It's changing the position. Agreed? That means whenever it's exactly changing the position, what we say is happening is, we say 2 is put onto 3 by a translation, because there is no spin And though it's not flipped, if no spin, that means no rotation. Not flipped, that means there is no reflection, only translation. Agreed? Do we agree on this? Any questions? Let's look at the test. Let's do a question or two from the test. Okay, maths. This was grade 6, 31, chapter number 31. Just a moment, please. Grade 6, chapter number 31, lesson number 2. In the next lessons, I will explain you further how to do like translation, every single thing separately, okay? Right now, I'm just giving you a concept. Okay. For the first question from the test, they are saying, just a moment, let me copy. They have given us this information, and this they are asking us what combination is being followed over here. So if this is our question number 1 from the test, so what combination? Help me out, please. I'll just bring this for you so that you have a reference point. We know that what happens in reflection, rotation, and translation. So 1 goes on to 2. What is happening if 1 is translated? If 1 is flipped onto 2, right? Welcome. 1 is flipped onto 2, right? My wordings are 1 is flipped. 1 is flipped onto 2. That means they both are mirror images because the empty box was furthest away. That means reflection and reflection is possible as a rotation is not possible as the first option, right? Then what happens 2 to 3? When we are moving from shape number 2 to shape number 3, can we see a reflection again? No. See, we had 3 options. If you're going from 2 to 3, we had reflection, we had rotation, and we had translation. Translation means change in position. No, but the shape direction is changing. Translation is not possible. Reflect, it's not inverted. So what are we left with? We are only left with rotation. Agreed? So we can say 1 is reflected onto 2 and 2 is translated onto 2 is rotated onto 3. Okay? So that is the sequence given to us. Let's have a look at another example. What combination is shown to us in the given question? If this would be our question number 2. These are the possibilities given to us. For question number 2. In question number, if you're moving from 1 to 2, we had rotation, reflection, and translation. Can we see a change in direction? No. When we are moving from 1 to 2. No. Only change in position, right? That means translation is possible. First option, last option is not possible. What about 2 to 3? We had rotation, reflection, and translation. So from 2 to 3, we can see that change of position is not there, right? Because the angle has changed. And whenever the angle is changing, we say it is spin, right? Agreed? For the second, it would be rotation. Okay. So best is to write down the all three possibilities. Here was a spinning. The angle, whenever there is a change in angle, it is a rotation. Okay. So we can write the three possibilities and we cancel out what is impossible. Okay. If we cancel out what is impossible, we find out what is possible. Okay. Please do try the remaining questions. Okay. Take care. Have a nice day. Best of luck. Thank you. Bye.